Here we are at the Texas Motor Speedway for the second race of the second round of the chase race number 5, the Nationwide 300. A lot lays on the line for a lot of drivers here today. Let's take a look at our 40 car field and kind of describe the chaser situation. On the pole, of the 19th, Derek Hamel, 2 is outside the 24, Joe Sandrovich. Then third, the guy who is way behind in points, Jeff Bright, needs a great run here to get into the top 4 in the points. Fourth is Tim Raff, running out the top 5, just on the outside looking in, Steve Larker. Then 6th, you have Patrick Smith. 7th, Jake Richardson. 8th, Tyler Lyman. 9th, Riley Sprague. Running out the top 10, got Eli Bright. Then the rest of the field goes Joe Jefferson, 2 is inside Jim Gambit. And you got Luke Rainey and Tim Gary, along with Jay Gambit and Kyle Hunter. Jay Jefferson and Julius Anderson. Then Jonathan Buford and Mason Hayward. Michael Canto and Jake West. Then Jeff Samito and Justin Heath, another chaser. See all these chasers starting towards the back of the field. Then Isaac Nichols and Marcus Sachi. Trey Rainey and Jason Larker. Behind them, 2 chasers, Max Anderson and Levi Shones. Then Code Luigi and TJ Hanley. John Gambit and Alexander Rowe. Carter Friesen, another chaser, Brayson Collins. Then JT Hanley, another chaser, Evan Hunter. Chaser behind them, Alex Stewart and Jason Simeo Jr. Then Colton Yo and Robert Hernandez rounding out the field in row number 21 here today. So let's go down trackside to hear the command.
I'm Staff Sergeant Proto with the soldiers of the 1st Cavalry Division. Gentlemen, start your engines!
All right, everybody, just like what we talked about in the transporter, nice and easy. It's a long race, settle in, be nice and smooth. Go out there and kick some butt tonight. This is your house. Let's prove it to them.
That's the 42 cars fire up and roll off here at the Texas Motor Speedway. For it's sure to be a fun, wild race here this afternoon. This will set drivers up for what they need to do at Atlanta to get themselves into the final round at Homestead. Right now, leading the points is Max Anderson by 2 over Justin Heath. Then behind them in third, it is Levi Shones, 4th, Brayson Collins, and just on the outside, Steve Larker, Evan Hunter, Alex Stewart, all within 4 points of each other as they come down the front stretch. We're green flag racing here at Texas as Derek Hamel will lead the field to the stripe. All right, to the inside for second. Steve Larker looking on Jeff Bright. They hit turn number 3 for the first time here this afternoon. Larker, good run through 3 and 4. Bright trying to keep it up on the high side as they come off of 4. Derek Hamel leads lap 1, but Steve Larker will get to second. He's bound with Jeff Bright still down the front stretch. Bright doing a great job on the outside lane to try and keep it up. Larker with a big run to the inside of Hamel now. They're side by side for the race lead through 1 and 2. 33 got a little tight there down low as they come down the back stretch. They're still side by side there. It might go 3 wide. Jake Richardson, a big move to the bottom. Leaves his teammate up top 3 wide. Joe Sandrovich to the middle lane. They're still side by side for the race lead. Hamel not giving up. Larker wants that lap led for a bonus point. Still can't get it done. But he's still side by side with the 19 entering turn 1. And Jeff Bright still in the outside lane. That number 5 car is outside Joe Sandrovich. Hamel could not get off of turn 2 quite the way he wanted to. Larker pulling him down the back as they're going around. Julius Anderson car hard into the inside wall. And they're stacking up chasers. The 11 of Evan Hunter, the 4 of Alex Stewart was in it. And a chaser will lead them back to the yellow. Larker back in front. That's a bonus point for that 33 team. They're 3 wide coming back. Hamel in second, Sandrovich third, and Jeff Bright up to 4th. As chasers involved, Max Anderson has damage. Evan Hunter, Brayson Collins. I saw Alex Stewart spinning around. Does Levi Shones possibly have some damage to the number 38? He was back there as well. Code Luigi also got some damage. Justin Heath looks like was able to escape it. So caution number 1 here early on. Julius Anderson to go around at the back of the pack. Let's check out what happened. Racing off at turn number 2. Sometimes cars get up high and into the wall. That's exactly what happens. Michael Canto into the wall, and then I think Heath was coming up thinking he was clear of the 14, but wasn't. Anderson spins around hard into the wall. And then Gambit went into the inside wall and came up and wiped out the 11. You see the 4 goes for a spin. The 50 did get some damage. Levi Shones damage on the outside lane. Brayson Collins in the middle of it all with damage. Look at this in real time and then from a few different camera angles. There's a lot happened there. Watch the inside lane as well. As these guys bounce off the wall, watch that orange number 43. Gets down to the inside wall and he wipes out right there. And they just kept piling in. See right there? 43 did go pretty hard into the inside wall and then just lost control of it. If that 4-3 did not lose control of the car, it would have been a lot smaller accident, I guess you could say, but we have to go on board with a few chasers as well here. Max Aronson, Evan Hunter, Brayson Collins, Levi Shones, Alex Stewart, all back here in this chaos. Stewart, I think, just went around. He might have just gotten spun around somehow. Let's look at his onboard, see if he got hit at all in any way. He'll definitely keep it in the race, but it looks like he did get some front-end damage there. Evan Hunter probably got the most damage of the chasers as he hit hard. He probably started to see that 43 come up the track and he said, no, no, no. But it actually happened. Bracey Collins in the L1 goes around as well. Oh. Collins with some pretty heavy damage as well. Going on board just Nathan to 23. He's able to escape from this. He was in the middle of it all to start it. See how hard he hit the 30. He actually left a big scratch in the door of the 30 car. Let's go on board the 50 of Max Aronson. He's back here as well. Now, once again, we don't know who has the most damage here. Some cars might look like they took some hard hits, but maybe it's just cosmetic. Others might have some mechanical issues. Go on board Shones. That doesn't look too bad. It looks like he just got squeezed into the wall a little bit. I think Levi Shones should be fine. So while that was happening, a chaser led them back. Steve Larker, they will stay out, and Larker will lead us back to the green flag. Coming back to the restart, lap number 8. Steve Larker still the one out front. John Gammett, the only car to retire from that, so the chase drivers and teams doing a great job of keeping their cars in the race. So chaser leading Steve Larker in second. You have Derek Hamill, third Joe Sandrovich, Jeff Bright chaser in fourth, then Tim Randolph in fifth, and Jake Richardson sixth, seventh Riley Rayotube, eighth Jim Gammett, ninth Patrick Smith, 10th Eli Bright. Your next chaser, all the way back here, Justin Heath in the 24th position. There are only 2 chasers right now in the top 23. The rest 24th or lower. Insane to think about. Larker leads the field with the green flag. It's back waving. Hamill stayed right with him there. Sandroge did spin the tires just a little bit, looks like, or he just got caught sleeping. Hamill's right up on that 33 car as they go through 1 and 2. Now who gets the best run off of turn number 2 is the question as they come down the backstretch. Jeff Bright peaks low for third. Sandroge did not get a good restart right there, and Jeff Bright wants to take advantage of that, get to the third position. Still side by side with the 24 into turn 3. And off of 4 there, side by side down the front stretch. Some cars are slower back there. We'll check out who that is once this battle kind of calms down up here. Jeff Bright clears for third. Tim Randolph trying to do the same for fourth. Gets a little tight down low, and Bright pulls away from that battle as they go down the backstretch. Front 2 pull away. Larker still out front. This is big for Jeff Bright and Steve Larker. They're on the outside coming into today. Larker was only outside, though, by a point. So, yeah, because going into this race, it was Max Aronson with 39 points, Justin Heath with 37, and then Levi Shones with 35, and then Brayson Collins with 32. Larker has 31 right now, and then Evan Hunter had 30, and Alex Stewart at 29. So they were all very close, and the Jeff Bright was out. He had 15 points, so he had to make up 17 points, which looks like he could do possibly today. Some of the cars slower. JT Hanley, Max Aronson is one of them slow, so obviously he has some pretty heavy damage. Back here running around 4th. He was the points that are coming today, as we mentioned. Evan Hunter, also with damage. He's just on the outside coming into this race. Collins is back here in 33rd. Levi Shones is back here, trying to fight his way through. Alex Stewart still stuck back here. Heath has made no progress as well. So, after today, Steve Larker and Jeff Bright. Here comes Bright for second, but does Larker even if he doesn't win, does he pull away to a point where he just has to coast it around at Atlanta and not get involved in a crash, and he might go to Homestead? Jeff Bright, does he put himself into a position where he'll be in after today? So many unknowns still, so many slow cars at the back, and a lot of them are chasers. They got some chasers. You can't pass towards the back of this field. It gets really hard. You can see right there down the inside, you're trying to pass someone, you just get really tight. And that really allowed Steve Larker to pull away as Hamill and Jeff Bright were battling behind. Now here comes Stan George for 5th. Number 24 car. It's for 4th, excuse me, as Tim Randolph up the track. Jim Gamet there in the 6th position. Nice run for him here today. Riley Sprague to be back there in 7th. As the front 9 cars have kind of pulled away. Then 10th place now Jay Jefferson. And they're 3 wide back here. Jake Gamet up the track. Patrick Smith in the middle. Tim Gary down low. And they got some teammates, Luke Rainey and Jonathan Buford. Buford was eliminated from the chase last round. Luke Rainey didn't even get to make the chase. He's trying to show that he can still win in this series. It's been so long for him. Season number 2 it was when he last won a Target Series race. Looking up here, battle still for 2nd. Derek Hamill. Obviously that car is not as fast as Jeff Bright's. Bright's just a little bit faster. He gets to the corner panel there. He tried to suck that 19 car back. Jim Gamet now going for 4th. Derek Hamill really slow up top 3 wide, and that's going to allow Jeff Bright to clear for 2nd. Now can he run down fellow chaser Steve Larker? They're coming to halfway this time by. Still a lot of racing left. It'll just be 15 laps to go when we get to the line. Hamill's falling back to 4th. Tim Randolph does get to 3rd. Sandrovich battling for 5th with Jim Gamet. As Gamet went to the inside, Sandrovich up to the outside lane, trying to get a run down the straightaway. Just depends on how your car is. If your car is actually pretty good, you can run both lanes and make passes in both lanes. But if your car's not that great, the inside lane not the place you want to be to try and make passes. See right here, Tim Randolph is now faster than Jeff Bright. They're catching Steve Larker. If I'm Randolph, Bright, and Hamill, I would just stay in line right here. You're catching Larker because of this draft. Don't ruin it by doing that. You slow both cars down when you do that. So now Larker will pull away just a little bit more. They have to stay single file to catch. Or what Jeff Bright wants to see is a bow behind him like Derek Hamill and Tim Randolph are having. St. George goes for 4th now on Hamill. 24 car looking fast as your pulse here starts to fade just a little bit. These two start on the front row. Hamill is the one on pole. St. George to the outside 2nd. And it looks like St. George right now has a little bit of a faster car than Hamill. He's going to clear for the 4th position. As Hamill now just going to try and cling on to a top 5. He's battling with Jim Gamet for that 5th position. 13 to go here at Texas. Jake Richardson coming. He's in the 8th position. He's looking for 7th, maybe even 6th here in 1 and 2. Great run there underneath the 19 car. Hamill's starting to fade just a little bit. Eli Bright and Jay Jefferson going to try and join this battle as well, as Randolph has cleared for the 2nd position. So Jeff Bright back to 3rd, but now can Randolph try and run down Steve Larker? Can Larker lock this thing up and go to Homestead with a shot at the championship? Gambit is cleared for 5th. Battle is for 6th. Derek Hamill and Jake Richardson. Back up here. Jeff Bright back on Tim Randolph. Now these two just playing games, and Steve Larker is pulling away because of it. Sam George has now joined this battle. It's a 3-way battle for the 2nd position down the backstretch. Hamill is falling back even more. Patrick Smith has closed in. Hamill's car is fading and big time. Look at Patrick Smith now up into this pack. Same with Tim Gary. Your next highest chaser besides those two up front, Justin Ethan 21st. Then back here, Alex Stewart up to 25th. Levi Jones is right now battling inside the top 30. Brayson Collins in 33rd. And then off pace back here, Evan Hunter in 37th. Max Harrison now going for 38th. As they're now 3 wide for 2nd down the back. Jeff Bright put to the middle by Sandrovich. Randolph, the one all the way up top. Sandrovich nowhere to go, and that gets tight down low. He's going to lose some positions there. As they're still balanced side by side for 2nd. 10 to go, and Larker is nowhere to be seen. Bright once again clears. He's trying to pull away from Randolph. These guys are not going to have a shot unless there's a caution flag to try and bunch these guys back up. Look at San George driving underneath Jim Gamet for the 4th position. Couldn't get it done. Hamill sailed into 7th. Eli Bright now fading just a little bit. Tim Gary and Luke Rainey are going to go by him. Riley Sprague now outside the top 10 after fading. Now remember, if they stay like this, they will try and run down Steve Larker. That's a big if, though, because look at Tim Randolph. it seems like the car behind the car at second gets a really great run through the corners and just slows these guys down the straightaways and in the corners. They just keep battling like this. They're not going to catch the 33 Steve Larker. This is Larker's race as long as nothing happens to him. 8 to go for that number 33. Trying to lock himself into Homestead. Meanwhile, Jeff Bright trying to keep his second position. It's not going to happen for him as they now race down the backstretch. He should just let... If I'm the guy in second, I want to stay behind. Or I want to stay in front of that guy in third. If I'm the guy in third, I want to stay behind the guy in second. You're not going to have a shot if you're battling for second and third. You have to stay single file. And Jeff Bright's going to look to the inside once again. These guys are just being their own worst enemy right now. They're not going to be able to catch the 33 Steve Larker if they keep doing this. And Bright drove it up the track. He slowed any momentum he had down. And Jim Gambit's going to get to third, maybe even second now as they come down the backstretch. Second to about seventh. They're being their own worst enemy. If they just stayed single file, they would have caught the 33 Steve Larker already. But they're just ruining their own races, bound for this second position. They're not going to catch Steve Larker like this. 6 to go. They do have a lap car ahead, so that could possibly slow up Steve Larker. It's JT Hanley. Oh, the 22 of Tyler Lyman had a tire issue, so he drops to 41st. Not what he wanted, obviously, out of today. As now Jeff Bright has cleared Jim Gambit, but he only has 5 laps to try and run down this 33 car, who right now has, I believe, half a second lead. Look at the distance. It's up to over 0.6 of a second because those guys were battling that last lap. Now here comes Bright's teammate Richardson for the third position. See, the whole pack is kind of coring together. Jim Gambit fading just a little bit. Luke Rainey has joined this pack. Riley Sprague to back up here. Sandroge fading. So Richardson is now to third, but Jeff Bright just nowhere near Steve Larker at the moment. Come to 4 laps to go. It's going to take a Hail Mary out of the number 5 car. Now even if the caution comes out, the race is over. Gained a 10th that time by. There's no one near him. This is the best chance Jeff Bright's had to try and run down the 33 car. Richardson's teammate is the one in third. Then Hamill going back for 4th as his car is going to come alive at the end of this race. They will catch JT Hanley, so it'll be interesting to see where Larker catches him. And will that play a factor in how this race turns out? Coming to the stripe this time, it'll be 3 laps of racing to go at Texas. The gap to Jeff Bright is down another 10th. Bright has been closing in. If they catch JT Hanley at the wrong spot, if Larker catches Hanley at the wrong spot, it could play spoiler for the 33 down the back. Jeff Bright is visually closing, but does he have the time to do it? Does he have the luck to do it? Through 3 and 4, they probably will catch Hanley down the straightaway, which is to Larker's benefit. Now 2 to go at Texas. They catch Hanley into turn number 1. Larker goes to the inside, gets away from Hanley. The gap was once again closed by another 10th. They race down the backstretch, coming to the white flag this time. It's going to take 3 perfect corners out of the 5 car to get to the 33. Larker trying to advance to Homestead. Bright trying to advance to Homestead. They come off of turn number 4. The white flag is in the air one more time around for Steve Larker. Can he close out a dominating performance here at Texas? The gap, a quarter of a second. Not enough for Jeff Bright to try and run down the 33. The 5 car is faster. But when playing around with the battling for a second, it's going to hurt him down the backstretch. Larker into turn number 3. The final time this afternoon, Steve Larker with a dominating performance in the Nationwide 300. He'll advance to Homestead off of 4. Larker goes to Homestead with a win at Texas. And in dominating fashion for the 33 team, Steve Larker. Domination at Texas and goes to Homestead. Larker will be 1 of 4 fighting for the championship. As many chasers had problems today, I believe only 2 finished in the top 10. Let's now go check the finishing results and see your chase field. Well, here are the finishing results from the Nationwide 300 at Texas. There was 1 caution flag for 4 laps and 1 lead change among 2 different drivers. Steve Larker dominating this race, leading 28 of the 30 laps to get to victory lane at the Texas Motor Speedway and advances to Homestead with a shot at the Target Series Championship. Jeff Bright, another chaser, ends up second. Great recovery, though, for him. Obviously, it gets him up into the points of contention heading into the final race of this round. Jake Richardson, his teammate, ends up third. Solid day for him. Derek Hamill, the other driver to lead laps, started up pole, led the first two, got passed by Larker. He ends up fourth, and Jim Garrett rang out the top five. Then Patrick Smith in sixth, Tim Randolph seventh, Joe Sandrovich in eighth, ninth, Luke Rainey and Tim Gary rounding out the top 10. So there's your top 20. The pack really kind of accordion back together there at the end and allowed for some positions to change hands there at the end. As you can see, two chase drivers in the top 20, and they finished 1-2. The rest 20th or lower. Look down 21st to 4th. The next one, 22nd, Justin Heath. And they have to look down 26th, Alex Stewart. 31st, Levi Shones. Brayson Collins in 33rd. Evan Hunter 37th. And Max Aronson 39th. Not the days the chasers were hoping for here today. Only two really got respectable finishes. The others struggling here at Texas. 39 cars finished on the lead lap. 40 end up finishing the race as Tyler Lyman had a tire issue just past the restart. And John Gambit ends up retired from the race after that accident. So the next race and the final race of round number 2 of the chase will be the Georgia 300 at Atlanta. See you guys then. Here are the chase standings.